Conservative Party, right, in the last few months have been working cooperatively with the Liberal Party, trying to make sure that Canadian businesses are protected with whatever should happen in negotiations in NAFTA. We've been doing roundtables right across Canada. We've done visits into D.C. and around the U.S., talking about the importance of trade and making sure they understand the importance of the relationship. So we've been actively involved, and we will stay actively involved working with the Liberal government to get the best deal that we can get for Canadians. But we do have some concerns, and we want to make sure that those concerns are addressed, and we'll work through the Liberal government to make sure they are addressed.
We just heard the minister say labour and the environment are two areas where modernization could occur and could be improved. What do you think about that?
Well, when you look at competitiveness, and we want to have a competitive North American economy, when you look at what we're doing here in Canada with carbon taxes, for example, and you look what they're doing in the U.S. with the EPA, it seems like we're heading in two different directions. So how can you use a trade deal to bring that back together so that we have a very competitive North American marketplace that actually can compete globally and create more jobs here in Canada? Should be the focus of their negotiations.
What did you make of Mr. Lighthizer's tone today? Didn't really seem like an attack dog.
I think Mr. Lighthizer is a very well-respected individual in Washington. The people we've talked to down there are very excited that he's coming on board to lead the charge. I think we'll have to see what they bring forward in their 90-day consultation process. Reality is they've got the process starting today. They'll do their internal documents and talking amongst Congress and the White House to define what that will look like. And even in that process, when it's finished, that paper might contain a whole variety of items that may or may not actually talked about during the negotiation. So we'll just have to watch and see how it unfolds. Correct.
What kind of timeline do you think we can realistically expect here?
That's a good question, because if you look at U.S. midterms next year, if you look at a presidential election in Mexico next year, and then if you actually look at what it takes to actually take a piece of an agreement, put it into legislation, and get it through your respective Congress or House, that is concerning. But in the same breath, there is a good agreement to build upon. The NAFTA agreement we have in place has worked very effectively for Canadians. And, if you look at the investment here in Canada, it's resulted in some over $5 trillion in direct investment in Canada alone. So it's been a good agreement. So there's a good base to build upon. And there was TPP consultations or negotiations that are sitting there. And there's some things in TPP that they can maybe cut and paste and put into the agreement. And also the CETA agreement that we did with Europe, there might be things in there that we can cut and paste to make this a more progressive agreement and more modern agreement that works for all three countries.
Is it possible to get it done before midterms?
Boy, it's a lot of work. We'll see, wait and see. I want to be optimistic because I think it's important that we get a good agreement. And I'd sure hate to see us being pushed on timelines rather than getting a good agreement.
Speaking of timelines over the next 90 days, what do you want to see the government doing? Because we're working together on the charm offensive.
I think what we need to do is just really go back to our business community, make sure that we've got their priorities set foot, are placed front and center, which we've been doing already, like I said, with roundtables and stuff like that. I think we want to make sure that they have a game plan going to these negotiations that will take in all considerations of what may happen during the negotiations. Historically, we've had negotiations that have been done fairly confidential, with businesses having input through signing agreements, basically to keep things confidential. In the U.S., you have a scenario where we might have a very open negotiation where facts could end up on Twitter the next day. So there's going to be all sorts of scenarios that are going to be new to us that we're going to have to figure out how to work through.